Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the English Learning Podcast. I'm your host, Brain.
And I'm your co-host, Anna. We're so glad you're here with us today.
Today, we're going to talk about something every English learner struggles with: memorizing new words. You know that feeling when you learn 10 new words in the morning, and by the evening, poof, you only remember 2?
Oh yes, I've been there. And it's so frustrating because you feel like you're working hard but not seeing results.
Exactly. But here's the good news. The problem isn't your memory. The problem is usually the method you're using.
That's right. So in this episode, we'll share smart ways to remember new words so they actually stick in your brain.
We'll talk about why traditional memorization often fails, and then give you practical, science-backed methods that you can start using today.
And don't worry, we'll keep it fun, simple, and full of examples so you can practice along with us while listening. And don't worry, we'll keep it fun, simple, and full of examples so you can practice along with us while listening.
So grab a notebook if you'd like, or just listen closely. By the end of this episode, you'll know how to learn words smartly, not just for a test, but for life.
Let's get started.
All right. Before we talk about the SMART methods, let's first look at why the old way of memorizing usually doesn't work.
Yes, because most learners think, if I just repeat the word 10 times, I'll remember it forever. But sadly, that's not how the brain works.
Exactly. Let's say you write down the word abandon and you repeat it 20 times. You might remember it for a day or two, but after a week, gone.
I've done that so many times. I used to keep long lists of vocabulary. I'd read them again and again and feel good for the moment. But then, when I wanted to use the word in conversation, my mind went completely blank.
Yes, that's the big problem. Traditional memorization makes you think you know the word, but you can't actually use it in real life.
Another issue is cramming, trying to learn 50 new words in one day. The brain just gets overwhelmed. It's like trying to carry 10 shopping bags in one hand. Something is going to fall.
Good example. And also, when words are learned in isolation, like just single words with no sentences or context, your brain doesn't know how to connect them. And if the brain can't connect, it forgets.
So basically, traditional methods fail because they're boring, they're heavy, and they don't match how the brain naturally remembers things.
Exactly. The brain loves connections, stories, and repetition over time. And that's why in the next part, we'll show you the first principle of learning words the smart way.
And trust me, once you switch to smart learning, you'll feel the difference almost immediately.
Okay, so the first principle for memorizing words smartly is this: learn words in context, not in isolation.
Yes, because when you only memorize single words, they don't mean much. But when you learn them inside a sentence, a story, or even a conversation, your brain understands how to use them.
For example, let's take the word run. If I just tell you, run means to move quickly on foot, that's a dictionary definition. You'll probably forget it.
But if you hear it in different contexts, it becomes real. Like, I run every morning, or the computer program is running, or she decided to run for office. Suddenly, you see the word alive in different situations.
Exactly. Now your brain connects the word run to actions, habits, even politics. It's not just a dry definition anymore.
Let's try this with a new word for our listeners. How about the word generous?
Good one. Okay, if I just say generous means giving more than usual, you might forget it. But let's put it in context. My neighbor is very generous. She always shares food with us. That was a generous gift. He's generous with his time, always helping others.
Now it's so much easier to remember because you can imagine people and situations. You're not just learning a word, you're learning how real people use it.
Exactly. And learners should try this with every new word. Instead of memorizing one word, make 2 or 3 example sentences.
Yes, and even better, make sentences about your own life. For example, if you're learning generous, you could say, "My best friend is generous. She always helps me with my homework."
Perfect. When you make it personal, your brain remembers it longer because it feels connected to you.
So the takeaway is, don't learn words as lonely soldiers. Put them in a family, in a story, in your daily life. That's when they stick.
And that's the first SMART principle. Context is king. All right, moving on to the second principle. Use spaced repetition and review smartly.
Yes, this is so important. Many learners think, if I learn a word today, I'll remember it forever. But the truth is, the brain naturally forgets things if we don't review them.
Exactly. There's even a scientific term for this. It's called the forgetting curve. Basically, when you learn something new, you'll forget most of it in just a few days if you don't review.
But here's the smart part. If you review at the right time, the memory gets stronger. For example, review the new word after 1 day, then after 3 days, then after a week, then maybe after 2 weeks. Each time your brain keeps it longer.
Yes, it's like going to the gym. You don't build muscle by lifting weights once, you build it by repeating over time. The same is true for memory.
And the good news is, you don't need to spend hours reviewing. Even just 2 or 3 minutes of quick review can make a huge difference.
Right. For example, if you learn the word optimistic, you could quickly review it tomorrow by making one sentence. I feel optimistic about my English. Then 2 days later, make another sentence. She stayed optimistic during the exam.
Exactly. Little by little, the word becomes part of your long-term memory.
And for learners who like technology, there are some amazing tools like flashcard apps with spaced repetition systems built in.
Yes, but even if you don't use apps, you can create your own review schedule. For example, write today's words on a paper, check them tomorrow, then again in 3 days, then a week. Simple but powerful.
So the key here is, don't learn once and forget. Review smartly at spaced intervals, and you'll remember words for life.
And it actually feels less stressful too, because you're reviewing just a little at a time instead of trying to memorize everything at once.
Exactly. Smart, not hard. So, the third principle for memorizing words smartly is to connect words to emotions and pictures.
Yes, because our brains are wired to remember feelings and images much more easily than abstract definitions.
Exactly. Think about it, you probably still remember your favorite childhood toy or a funny moment in school. Why? Because it had emotion and a picture in your mind.
Right. So if you want to remember a new English word, don't just read it. Try to make a mental image or connect it to a feeling.
Let's try an example. Take the word delighted. Instead of just saying, delighted means very happy, imagine a scene. You got a surprise birthday gift. You open the box and you feel so excited. That's delighted.
Yes. I actually imagine a child jumping up and down, smiling with wide eyes. That picture makes the word unforgettable.
Exactly. And it works with emotions too. For example, if you learn the word nervous, you might remember how you felt before giving a big presentation. That emotional memory connects directly to the word.
And if you want to make it even stronger, make the image funny or exaggerated. Like for hungry, imagine a giant stomach growling so loud that everyone can hear it.
Yes, the funnier, the better. Your brain loves unusual and emotional images. It locks them in memory.
So the tip is, don't just think the word, see it and feel it. That's how it becomes unforgettable.
Exactly. Words plus emotions plus pictures, long-term memory. All right, now for the fourth principle. Use new words actively in speaking and writing.
Yes, this one is huge, because if you only know a word in your head but never actually use it, your brain will just throw it away.
Exactly. It's like buying a new tool but never taking it out of the box. If you don't use it, you forget it's even there.
That's so true. I remember when I was learning English, I knew a lot of words passively, but when I tried to speak, my mind went blank because I had never practiced saying them.
Yes. So here's the smart strategy. As soon as you learn a new word, try to use it in a sentence out loud or in your writing. Even one sentence is enough to activate it.
Let's try this with an example. Say the new word is curious. Brain, how would you use it in a sentence?
Sure, I was curious about how the story would end.
Nice. Okay, my turn. My little brother is very curious. He always asks so many questions.
Perfect. And listeners, this is your practice moment. If you're listening, try to say your own sentence with curious right now. Don't just think it, actually say it.
Yes, even if you're walking outside or sitting at home, just whisper it or say it out loud. That's how you train your speaking muscle.
And writing works too. Keep a small journal and try to use new words in short entries. For example, today I felt curious about cooking a new recipe.
When you use a word in real situations, whether in speaking or writing, you move it from passive memory to active memory. And that's the real goal.
Exactly. Because in the end, you don't just want to recognize words, you want to speak them fluently and naturally. All right, before we move on to our personal tips, let's quickly talk about some common mistakes learners make with vocabulary.
Yes, because knowing what not to do can save a lot of time and frustration.
Mistake number 1. Trying to memorize too many words at once. Some learners try to learn 50 or 100 words a day. That's way too much for the brain to handle.
Absolutely. Your brain can only absorb so much at a time. If you overload it, you forget everything anyway. It's better to learn a few words really well than many words poorly.
Mistake number 2. Depending only on word lists. We've all done it, just reading long lists of words without context. The result? You might recognize the word on a test, but you can't use it in real life.
Yes. And mistake number 3, not reviewing at all. Some learners learn a word once and expect to remember it forever, but memory needs reinforcement, as we discussed with spaced repetition.
Exactly. And mistake number 4. Learning words passively without using them. You might read, hear, or write a word, but if you never speak it or use it in sentences, it will disappear quickly.
I remember when I used to make all these mistakes. I'd memorize a list, feel proud, and then a week later I couldn't remember a single word.
Been there too. But the good news is, once you avoid these mistakes and use smart techniques, context, spaced repetition, emotions, and active use, you'll see much faster progress.
Exactly. So just remember, slow, smart, and active learning beats rushed, passive memorization every time.
All right, now it's time for a little personal sharing. Anna, what's your favorite method for remembering new words?
Honestly, I love combining context with emotions. When I learn a new word, I immediately think of a personal situation or create a funny picture in my mind. It just sticks.
Yes, I do something similar, but I also use active speaking. I try to use the new word in at least 3 sentences right away, sometimes out loud, sometimes in writing. That way, the word becomes mine, not just a word I read somewhere.
And I also like to review my words daily in tiny bursts. Just a few minutes each day keeps the memory fresh. No pressure, no stress, just consistent tiny steps.
Exactly. Consistency beats cramming every time. Another tip I use is to teach someone else the new word. If I can explain it or use it in conversation with a friend, I know I've really learned it.
Yes, teaching makes the brain work in a different way. And it's fun, too. I remember one time I taught my cousin 5 words, and we ended up making silly sentences. I still remember those words months later.
See, combining these techniques, context, emotions, active use, and teaching makes learning faster, easier, and more fun.
Exactly. And the best part? You don't have to spend hours memorizing. Smart strategies make it feel natural. All right, listeners, it's challenge time. I want you to try something fun and practical today.
Sounds exciting. What's the challenge, Anna?
Here it is. Pick 5 new words you want to learn today. Don't just write them down. Use the 4 SMART principles we talked about. 1. Learn them in context. Make sentences. 2. Review them after a short time. 3. Connect them to emotions or pictures in your mind. 4. Use them actively, say them out loud, or write them in a short story.
And here's an extra tip. Make it personal. Connect the words to your own life. That makes them unforgettable.
Yes. And after you do it today, try reviewing those 5 words tomorrow and see how much you remember. You'll be surprised at how quickly your memory improves when you use SMART techniques.
All right, listeners, are you ready? Grab your notebook or just speak out loud and take the challenge. It's only 5 words, but done smartly. It's powerful. All right, listeners, are you ready? Grab your notebook or just speak out loud and take the challenge. It's only 5 words, but done smartly. It's powerful.
Exactly. Small steps every day lead to huge results.
All right, before we wrap up, let's take a moment for some motivation. Today's message is smart beats hard.
Yes, so many learners think they need to spend hours memorizing words the hard way. But the truth is, working smarter makes all the difference.
Exactly. Using the techniques we talked about, context, spaced repetition, emotions, and active use, you can learn faster, remember longer, and feel less stressed.
Think of it like this. It's not about how many hours you study, it's about how effective those hours are. 5 minutes of smart learning can be more powerful than an hour of random memorization.
And the best part? You'll start seeing results quickly, which keeps you motivated and confident. Every word you remember builds your skills and your confidence.
So remember, don't just work hard, work smart. Your brain loves strategy, and it loves rewards. Use that to your advantage.
Exactly. Small, smart steps every day turn into big progress over time. All right, listeners, let's quickly recap the key points from today's episode.
Yes, first, learn words in context, not in isolation. That way, your brain knows how to use them.
Second, use spaced repetition and review smartly. Small, regular reviews beat cramming every time.
Third, connect words to emotions and pictures. Make them personal, funny, or vivid so your memory locks them in.
And fourth, use new words actively in speaking and writing. Don't just know them, use them.
Plus, avoid common mistakes. Don't overload your brain, don't rely only on lists, and review consistently.
Exactly. And remember, smart strategies make learning easier, faster, and more enjoyable.
So keep practicing, take small steps every day, and watch your vocabulary grow naturally.
And that's a wrap for today's episode on how to memorize new words smartly.
We hope you enjoyed it and that you'll try out the techniques we shared. Remember, small, smart steps every day make a huge difference.
If you like this episode, don't forget to subscribe to the English Learning Podcast, like this video, and share it with your friends who are learning English too.
Yes, and leave a comment below telling us which new words you're going to learn today. We'd love to hear your progress.
Thanks for listening, keep practicing smartly, and we'll see you in the next